what is driving the lack of clarity around Jim Harbaugh's future right now?
I think big picture, it's really an NFL thing. He's never
Okay.
won a Super Bowl. He came really close. You know, logic would tell me if he leads Michigan to a national title this year, like he had told me in the summer, we're going to break the record in 20 draft picks off this team. You lose 20 draft picks, you're going to be really depleted. Even if you're Georgia, you're going to be depleted, right? And so, I mean, look, Georgia had 15 last year and they weren't as good this year. They thought they were going to be really good and they weren't. So the idea that you could lose 20 players off that, never mind the NCAA dark cloud that's been hanging over there, not just for the Connor Stallions piece, but also for the COVID dead period, recruiting
Suspension,
issue.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's still out there. I just think at the end of the day, he flirted with the NFL really hard for the past 2 years. He left on a signing day to go interview with the Vikings. That didn't go great. And then last year, from my sources, were he could have probably had the Broncos job, said, I want to coach this team. So he's coaching this team now. He's got him in the playoff. I'm not saying I feel 100% confident that if he wins a national title, he definitely, he's still got to get the job and it's got to be the right situation. But I think there's probably a little bit of interest from what I heard with the Panthers job. If the Chargers job opens up, which it sure looks like it's going to, he and his wife have spent a bunch of time in Southern California. There's obviously a great, talented quarterback he would inherit there. There's a lot of pieces there that are pretty good. So I don't know. If I'm a Michigan fan, I know a bunch of them out here. If Jim Harbaugh leads you to a national title and decides he wants to leave, you beat Ohio State 3 times in a row. Yeah, I'll take that. I would take that formulation.
Right. Are there any other names NFL-wise? Because that's always the sort of second cycle with the coaching carousel. A lot of successful guys, that have NFL experience or that would be attractive to NFL types because of high-flying offenses. We've heard Lincoln Riley's name. Certainly Kalen DeBoer this year with his offense. Ryan Day has experience in the NFL. Any other names that intrigue NFL teams from what you hear?
I think a lot of those NFL teams are going to be a little scared off by both Matt Rule not doing well with the Panthers, who had, at least a little bit of NFL experience. I think he was with the Giants for a year or two. Obviously, Urban bombed spectacularly in Jacksonville. And we've seen other examples of guys who didn't work out great, who didn't have, either had some experience or not. Harbaugh knew the NFL. He spent like 15 years in there. And then he did he was 44-19 at a program. I think people forgot. But he was, the 49ers were spinning their wheels for a decade and he got them into the Super Bowl in a hurry. So he is really good at that. Like if you asked me, would Ryan Day be a guy who might attract some NFL teams at some point? Maybe. He's a good offensive coach. He's been in NFL circles. He knows a bunch of people there. Lincoln's never coached there. And I just would wonder how that would go, because at the end of the day, I think, NFL people have to be paying attention going, yeah, he can really, could he be somebody's offensive coordinator? Sure. Could he be in charge of the whole thing? And how would that work in the NFL? I think that would be a really hard sell for somebody at this point.